Hey, I'm Shannon Stagland. I'm here with our winemaker, Frederick Johansson, and we're excited to introduce a new wine project that he and I have been working on now for quite some time. It is a bottling of Pinot Noir as well as a bottling of Grenache. The name is RESA, and Frederick's going to tell you a little bit more about that.
My family is originally from Sweden, and RESA is a Swedish word that means journey. All of us are on our own journeys in life, and wine is something that brought my journey and Shannon's journey together. And we thought that making wines from these two varietals, which are very passionate for us, would be a way for us to join our journeys together and maybe link up with yours.
So people have asked why Grenache and why Pinot Noir?
For us, Pinot Noir and Grenache are very complementary to each other. They have beautiful aromatics and are more acid-driven than tannin and structure-driven. And being as that we make Cabernet and Bordeaux varietals primarily here for a living, that are powerful, rich wines, we thought these would be a nice departure from that and allow us to explore a more lifted and sort of bright expression of wine that we don't often get to do here on the estate.
And while we love drinking the Stagland wines, I find that in my household, like medium-bodied red wines to light-bodied red wines, we cannot keep in stock in our wine fridge. We enjoy them greatly, and so this really allows us to produce a wine that not only do we enjoy drinking, but we can share with others, and I think it enables us to really express a more kind of fun, youthful side of our cumulative 37 years of experience in this business. So we hope that you enjoy.
We see wine as an expression of time and place as expressed through the grape varietal. But for us, we're not looking to make the Pinotiest of Pinots or the Grenachiest of Grenaches. What we're looking to achieve is more something about a unified expression that has finesse and elegance and utter balance to it, while being bright and lifted and respecting the varietal characters, but without being driven by them. And we hope that at the end of the day, what these wines are is just a pleasure to drink and drink a lot of.
Pinot Noir is a varietal that I've always really enjoyed drinking. Funny enough, some of the first wines that I was exposed to at the family dinner table were like older Burgundies, which at the time I was so young that I thought that they tasted like dirt and I didn't really enjoy them. But as my palate grew and became a bit more, I suppose, aware of the greatness of what Burgundy wines can be, I really started to appreciate them, and also some amazing Pinot Noirs that are produced here in California. And so I started to think, man, maybe it'd be great to do something, a new project around that varietal.
And for me, I've also really enjoyed Pinot Noir and Burgundy for a long time, but my jam was the Rhone, and especially the Southern Rhone and Grenache. And that goes back many, many years. And I've always had it in my mind to eventually make Grenache. And not that I ever thought it tasted like dirt, but sometimes it tastes like like herbs and wood, and then depends on how much whole cluster people do. It can be pretty weird, but I've always really enjoyed it and thought it'd be something fun to explore. And so when we realized we sort of shared passions about wines and varietals other than what we make here at Stagland and Bordeaux and varietals, we thought it'd be pretty fun to try to do it ourselves together.
Mm-hmm. So if you're monitoring the fill lines on these bottles, you see that we actually really do enjoy drinking it. So the Pinot Noir, I would describe, it's got like really lovely kind of tart yet sweet cherry notes to it, some forest components, some earthy components, some darkness. The berries from this site are quite small, so you can get a lot of intensity while still maintaining that kind of lightness that you would expect from a Pinot Noir.
And the Grenache, there's about 50% whole bunch in there, so there's a lot of sort of lift going on and some complexity there, and it also has a nice sort of earthy component to it. For me, I love wines that are grounded, not necessarily in soil characteristics and sort of dirt, but in sort of the earth, while also being very lifted and bright and energetic. So there's good acid, red fruits, and a lot of spice and lift, while still having a wonderful sort of mid-palate and texture.
I think there's also like a beautiful floral component in the Grenache that I love.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that partially that comes from the varietal itself, but also the amount of whole bunch in there really helps sort of amplify that. And without being like too weird or off-putting, sometimes a lot of whole bunch can be pretty esoteric and kind of strange. Where these wines are definitely more, let's say, approachable and understandable.
Yeah, I think, you know, wine can span a gamut of styles, right, from a single varietal. So you can have Pinot Noir that is very low alcohol, very lean, very acid driven. You can have a Pinot Noir that is like really full bodied, really extracted, really big. You know, what we're trying to do with these wines is the Goldilocks version, right? The just right. So something that is not too lean, not too big, something that's just really quite pleasurable and easy to drink. We invite you to join our journey and enjoy the RESA wines in the safety of your own home with your family. The wines are available on our website, which is resawine.com. You can also follow us on Instagram to stay up to date with what we're doing, and we're excited to share the wines with you and hopefully enjoy them and cheers in person in the not too distant future.
Cheers.